Almost no one is completely happy with their posture. And because there is this awareness in us that things could be better, lots of advice gets given about how to improve things. Some of the advice is really helpful, but also some of the most common advice given is not only useless at improving posture, but it can actually make things worse. In this video, I'll take you through 3 bits of advice that you've almost certainly heard, explain the problems of them, and then turn them around into advice that may actually give some benefit. I'm Pete Robinson from movementandposture.com. I'm an Alexander Technique teacher, and I release new videos each Sunday based on questions that I receive from students on my courses or from comments on my YouTube videos. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and ding the notification bell. Before I get stuck into the 3 tips, I should be clear that people almost always give these 3 instructions in a well-meaning way, and part of the problem is that words are open to misunderstanding. This is why Alexander Technique teachers use hands-on guidance with their students to help convey experience, which adds clarity to the verbal instructions. So try a lesson with a teacher if you get the chance. Having said that, I'll try to explain things in a way that you can make use of even if you aren't having Alexander Technique lessons. Instruction number 1 is sit up straight. The main problem with this is that most of us react to this instruction with a huge increase in tension. For example, if you're sitting hunched over your computer and someone tells you to sit up straight, it's likely you can pull yourself up into a more vertical alignment, but most people will find themselves slowly sinking back into the hunch position. Or else they find that the upright position is actually really uncomfortable and they just abandon it after a short time. I don't think anyone would argue that being upright is better for us, but if the instruction to sit up straight almost always fails, it's worth trying to find a better way to achieve the desired results. To fix this advice, let's have a think about what being upright entails. If you had an object that you wanted to place in an upright position, we instinctively understand that the key concern is one of balance. Balance in the human body has 2 components, alignment and muscle tension. I can place someone into a good alignment where they have the best chance of balancing, but if they are tending to shorten their muscles on the front of their body, the only way that they can maintain that alignment is to also tighten up the muscles on the back of the body. This results in a lot of excessive tension, which usually ends up causing discomfort or pain. Of course, working on changing habits of tension when sitting takes more than just a simple tip, but a much more useful replacement for sit up straight might be, can you find a more balanced way to sit? This open question allows the possibility for the understanding of balance to develop and change, and also avoids the confrontational element of the original instruction. If you're interested in working on sitting posture, this is one of the topics that I get asked to make videos about a lot, and I'll link to a playlist of those above now. Instruction number 2 is to pull your shoulders back. If you take an interest in posture, you'll very quickly notice that many people's shoulders are habitually pulled forwards and sometimes upwards as well. It's easy to understand why the instruction to pull your shoulders back became so commonly used, but similarly to the first instruction, any attempt to pull the shoulders back is usually met with fairly rapid failure and often discomfort or pain. The reason for the ineffectiveness comes from a lack of understanding about what has caused the problem in the first place. The shoulders being forwards should be seen as a symptom rather than the actual issue. When our shoulders are pulled forwards, this is accomplished by an over-shortening of the muscles in the front of the body and an over-lengthening of the muscles in the back of the body. If your chest muscles are pulling the shoulders forwards and then you also try to pull them backwards, we end up with co-contraction, which causes stiffness and fatigue. A good analogy is a tent. If the guy ropes are too tight on one side, the tent leans in that direction. If you try to fix this by just tightening the other side, you increase the general tension on the tent poles and risk damaging it. Again, changing long-standing habits of pulling your shoulders out of balance is most successful as part of a general improvement in coordination and balance throughout the whole body. And that's the way the Alexander Technique always works. But a good modification to the instruction of pulling your shoulders back could therefore be, can you notice yourself pulling forwards out of balance? Can you find any release across the front of the shoulders? If you're interested in looking at the shoulders in more depth, check out the videos linked above now. Instruction number 3 is to tuck your chin in. This is probably the worst of the 3, as any kind of messing around with the head and neck has the potential to create a lot of pain and even injury. It's easy to see why people give this instruction, as so many of us have got into the habit of having a head forward posture. Obviously, all of the ideas that we explored in instruction number 2 also apply here. The head forward posture is an active shortening and tightening in the front of the body. So any attempt to simply pull the head backwards will be met with failure. The particular problem with tucking the chin is that there are so many different ways of tucking the chin, and all of them are going to cause problems. If you tuck your chin downwards, as many people do, this has the added problem that you're affecting your neck and restricting breathing and speech. If you tuck your chin upwards, you're clamping your head down on the top of your spine in a way that will seriously affect your coordination. Again, the best way to correct head forward posture is to look at the whole of your balance and alignment, with the head position being a small part of a more general issue. A better way of describing what you want to happen could be, could you find a way to release the pull forwards and down in the front of your body so that your head can find a nice free balance on the top of your spine? With each of these verbal instructions, the common theme is that we're trying to shift the focus from directly fixing the perceived issue to preventing the general problems that are the root cause. Of course, these instructions can also be misinterpreted, but at least they are more open and questioning, so could be the start of a process of change. Deciding to change poor postural habits and movements is a really positive step in your life. So many people feel an element of guilt or frustration with their posture and seeming inability to change it. So it's worth remembering to be kind to yourself and accept that change won't be instant. Get some Alexander Technique lessons if you're able to, and of course watch more of my videos if you find that they help. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch via the comments below. Like and subscribe if that's your thing, it's always appreciated. And I hope to see you on another one of these videos soon. Bye for now.